sweetie. Hello, sweetheart. Okay. Candy. Come on in. Pop you in the pouch. Okay, look. Makes you a little bit easier to work with when you're facing the right way. What's this, Gandalf? What's this? Taste? The smell? Might just be easier. There we go. Hello, darling. So sometimes this works easier. Good boy. Sometimes this works easier, doesn't it? And some pigs prefer to not be wrapped up. Some pigs prefer to be bundled up more. But you're okay, aren't you, sweet? Hey. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Good lad. So just bring this into view, look. Nice thing about making this up to the right consistency is you don't need to modify any syringes. So you can use a nice piggy sized syringe which fits nicely into the mouth, and you don't have to cut the tip off, and it's lovely and smooth, just the right consistency, isn't it? And we can do it one-handed, which is the main thing, without too many air bubbles. Yeah. I swear by these green syringes, they are so much easier than the ones with rubber stoppers. So this will get us through a feed very easily without getting clogged up at all, won't it? Yeah. Just works so smoothly. Yeah, it just works so smoothly, doesn't it? Good boy. Good boy. Some pigs you want to feed slower than this. At the moment he's relatively happy to take a normal sized mouthful, so normal sized mouthfuls between about 0.3 and 0.5 mil. So you work with the pig, don't you? Yeah, you work with the pig. So if the pig's not yet ready to have another mouthful, then we wait a little bit. Pigs with respiratory issues and particularly painful mouths will take longer to eat, particularly those with respiratory issues. To be more careful with those. But pig legs who are relatively okay, just not eating enough, as in the case of Gandalf. As yet we don't know why. So let's get enough food in him to try and kickstart his system a little bit, because we don't have quite as many poops as we'd like, do we? No. The way to rectify that is to put more food in. But he's not particularly interested in food, so we're having to do some supplementary feeding. Good boy. Good boy. He's drinking really well himself, so I don't feel the need to syringe water at this point. No. The border's making some noise. Yeah. Got some neighbours up there, haven't you? Yeah. Got some friends making some noise. Yeah. Here we go, look. There we are. So in here we have some Oxbow Critical Care, and it's the fine grind specifically, which is even better for going in this syringe. The regular one will go in one of these syringes without modifying, but the fine grind just makes for a much smoother paste and just easier all round. So we've got the Oxbow Critical Care Fine Grind, and we mix in a bit of flavour, extra calories, extra nutrients. We put in some wheatgrass powder as well. Anything with the word grass in it when it comes to piggies usually goes down well. Isn't it, sweetheart? It certainly seems to be helping this go down well with Gandalf. Good boy. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Yes. Yes. Hi. Hi. You're gorgeous. You are. You're gorgeous. Meow. Gandalf is having some food. And he's showing some other piggies how to do it. Well, no, not them. He's showing some piggies that this is how you take food nicely. You don't need to put up a big fight. You can take it all very nicely. You can get lots of food in your tummy. And you can be good boys. Yes. Most pigs won't listen. Not many pigs are this well behaved. Not many pigs are this well behaved. Good boy. He's starting to fight the syringe a little bit more now. A little bit more fed up, which is quite common with pigs who are not feeling great. We're not going for a big, we're not going for, we're not going for a full feed, as it were, because he is nibbling on some stuff by himself. So what I don't want to do is have him completely full of syringe food, because then he's not going to have any incentive to eat solid food himself. And obviously if you get into that cycle where he holds out for the basically liquid food, he's not grinding his teeth down with the hay, and he's not working them teeth, so it's where you can get stuck in a bit of a cycle, because the pig may not be eating because of teeth issues. You can have them corrected. Pig's mouth will naturally be a bit sore for a few days, so supplementary feeding is needed, but ultimately you want to get them on their normal diet as soon as possible. Yeah, that's the wrong end for me to feed, Gandalf. Come on, sweet. I'm going to flush you out by poking this end. No. Come on then. And sometimes it's just easier to do away with the cozy, can't we? Or we can sit you on the cozy the other way. Let's sit you on top of it. Hi. Hi, sweet. So basically, I just want to do enough to just keep him ticking over, as it were, rather than... So that's why I'm saying he's being supplementary fed rather than force fed or syringe fed. He's being syringe fed, obviously, but supplementary to what he's managing to eat on his own. He's not managing to eat a huge amount on his own, so I like to get at least 10 ml down him in a sitting, 3 or 4 times a day. So it's not a huge amount that he's being syringe fed at the moment. So as I said, it's supplementary, and I'm trying to just encourage him to keep eating by himself a bit, because we don't want to invite dental problems, even though we don't know exactly what's going on. His teeth are certainly not obviously overgrown, either in the front or the back, but I'm not a vet. I don't have all the tools to be able to examine inside the mouth extensively, so all I know for certain is that his molars, premolars, the bottom teeth in the back, are not bridging over his tongue. It's harder to tell with the top ones if they're growing out into the cheeks, because obviously the cheeks are so fleshy. So that is a job, definitely a job for the vet to double check, make sure there's no dental issue going on there, and there's no dental issue sort of developing either. Good boy. So he's seeing the vet. recommended Simon Maddock in Northampton because basically I suspect the options with Gandalf are going to be to see a vet, and there's a small chance there may be a respiratory, very, very, very early stages of a respiratory issue going on, in which case he would end up on antibiotics, probably an anti-inflammatory, possibly, potentially a one-off dose of diuretic and a gut stimulant like metoclopramide. So I think whichever vet he goes to, he will end up with antibiotics, possibly a single shot of Metacam, meloxicam, and hopefully the metoclopramide gut stimulant, because we know that his gut's not running at full capacity. So encouraging that to really move through may well have a knock-on effect of encouraging to eat a bit more as well. So we have that aspect, and that is pretty much what most vets will do if you present them with a pig who has very common but otherwise quite subtle and non-specific symptoms, because that kind of covers all the bases, or the most common bases. Now, because any pig who's not eating normally, you kind of want just to make sure that their mouth isn't the problem. So it is well worth actually spending a little extra time and money going to a specialist. So in this case, the nearest dental specialist I consider is Simon or King Maddock in Northampton. That's about an hour's drive from us. There are other vets nearer to us that I would recommend for a number of ailments, but with respect to the potential dental side of things and the possibility that the issue may be within his mouth somewhere, and obviously there's only so much I can see and there's only so much I can suggest because I'm not a vet. So obviously he needs to see a vet because he's not himself. So I recommended that it would be worth going that extra mile, or 10 or so to to somewhere that can check his mouth out properly at the same time as then giving the antibiotics, gut stimulant, that kind of thing, rather than trying that with a local vet and then finding maybe there's an issue with the mouth, so then going on to another vet appointment. It would just be better to go the extra mile now. Not only it makes sense financially because you're paying for one vet visit rather than two, but you're then reassured that it's a vet who is very experienced with these kind of symptoms and is very experienced with guinea pig mouths in particular, because there's a potential that it is his mouth that's the issue. There's also a possibility that it's not, but because we don't really know, it makes more sense to go to one who does cover that particular base really well. So Uncle Simon, as he is very well known in the piggy community, we're getting to meet this little man, and then whether Gandalf then comes back to me for more sort of specialised care as he recovers from hopefully whatever they find or don't find, whether he comes back to me or he's looked after at home, depends very much how he responds when he's back at home, if he's happier in his home environment or if he's still a little bit apathetic towards food, then or if antibiotics upset him in any way, as they often do, then he might just come and stay for a little bit longer. Just to get him back to 100%, because at the moment he's not 100%. Are you, sweetheart? No. I've not been counting how many meals you've had, but the heaped teaspoons of food that I put in make up somewhere between 15 and 20 mil. And we are through most of it, so we must have had about 10 mil. We can look back, can't we? And to be honest, sometimes it's worth syringe feeding a slightly nonplussed pig. Yes, I know. It's worth syringe feeding them till they get a little bit fed up. So not completely fed up that they go on strike, but a little bit, just a little bit, you know, right, okay, had enough now. Because quite often they'll go in and start nibbling by themselves. So we'll make this the last syringe. Yeah, we'll make this the last syringe. But what this is enough to do is just keep the gut ticking over. So that's really important. If the gut stops moving altogether, if it's not got enough food to push through altogether, and it stops working, then you have a whole new world of pain to try and get everything moving again. Obviously with a pig who doesn't want to eat, that's can be quite tricky. And if they feel so bad that they start rejecting the syringe, then it gets quite tricky, quite complicated. You want one more, Poppet, just because you took that last one well. So he's mildly, you know, he's barely fighting the syringe, but not in a bad way. So you want them to fight the syringe a bit, because you don't want them to be completely, you know, that's my only source of food. But you also, yeah, you don't want to push them too far into being reliant. You don't want to push them into being reliant, but you also need to make sure they've got enough going through. So it's very much a balancing act and a judgment call from experience and based entirely on the pig. So finish this syringe, sweetheart. Good boy. Fabulous. Make sure everyone look. So you got through a reasonable amount. That bowl was sort of, the bottom was covered. There's a decent amount there. There's a decent amount there, isn't there, sweetheart? Hi. Hi, buddy. We have room for fuzzies and cuddles as well. Yeah. Hello. Hi. Yes, every now and then there's just a little whistle in his nostrils as he breathes. Any observations that I make while a pig is in with me, it's all written down in a veterinary referral form. So everything that I've observed, everything that I've done, and the things that I've suggested to their owners as possibilities, and what I would personally expect from the vets, basically, just helps give the owners a bit more confidence walking into the vets, knowing that they've, you know, got something to hand that covers everything, that, you know, even though they've not seen or done it because the pig's been boarding with me, they know what's been going on, so they can go into the vets with full confidence with saying, this is how my pig's presenting. What do you think? You need to go back in, darling. So usually I'd finish up a syringe feed with at least a few mouthfuls of water, but Gandalf is such a good drinker that I'm going to let him go and do that himself. So you're going to say bye for now, Gandhi. Say bye for now. Yeah. Could do with just wiping that face a little bit. Yeah. He's a sweetie. So hopefully, we'll see Uncle Simon tomorrow. Get some magic medicines, and one way or another, one of them will get you feeling better. Yeah, because you're too handsome to be poorly. Luckily, Mama and Papa caught you really early, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah. Little foot. Gets me every time. Come on then. Right, so hopefully I won't need to do another video with this little guy, but if I do, I'm very grateful to his mum and dad for being okay with sharing sharing him with us. Okay? It's like, yeah, okay, enough, and enough attention. Good boy. Let's pop you back.